If you're over 60 and you're eating the breakfast food I'm about to reveal, you could be damaging your heart with every single bite. And here's what makes this even more disturbing. It's the one breakfast food that cardiologists absolutely refuse to eat themselves, yet they rarely warn their senior patients about it. My name is Heart Health. After 60, and 3 months ago, I sat down for coffee with Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a cardiologist at Cleveland Clinic who specializes in preventive cardiology for seniors. We were talking about the rising rates of heart disease in people over 60, and I asked her a simple question. What's the one thing you wish your senior patients would stop doing? Without hesitation, she said, I wish they would stop eating that breakfast food everyone thinks is healthy. You know, the one that comes in a box with pictures of hearts and whole grains all over it. I see patients every week who are doing everything else right. They're taking their medications, they're exercising, they're watching their salt intake, but they're sabotaging all of that with their breakfast choice. And most of them have no idea. That conversation haunted me because I realized she was talking about a food that millions of seniors eat every single morning, thinking they're making a healthy choice. A food that's been marketed to us for decades as heart healthy, as the perfect way to start your day, as the smart choice for people concerned about their cardiovascular health. But the science tells a completely different story. In the next 22 minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what this breakfast food is, why it's so dangerous for your heart after age 60, and most importantly, what you should eat instead. I'll share the latest research from cardiology journals, real patient stories from doctors across the country, and a simple 7-day plan to transition away from this harmful food to breakfasts that actually protect your aging heart. Now, I need you to keep watching because I'm not going to reveal what this food is right away. First, you need to understand why it's so dangerous after 60, because once you understand the mechanism of harm, you'll never look at this food the same way again. And here's a hint. Even if you think you already know what food I'm talking about, the reasons it's harmful will probably surprise you. Before we continue, if you're getting value from this video, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Last week, we talked about the 5 heart-healthy foods to avoid after 60, and the week before that, we covered the 5 exercises that are better than walking for senior heart health. This video is the third in our comprehensive series on protecting your heart after 60, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Alright, let's start by talking about why your breakfast choice matters more after 60 than at any other time in your life. Why breakfast matters after 60. Here's something most people don't understand about aging and heart health. What you eat for breakfast has a more dramatic impact on your cardiovascular system after age 60 than it did when you were younger. And there's a specific physiological reason for this that has to do with something called morning metabolic vulnerability. Let me explain. When you wake up in the morning, your body has been fasting for 8 to 12 hours. During that time, your liver has been carefully managing your blood sugar levels to keep your brain and organs functioning. But here's what changes after 60. Your body's ability to regulate blood sugar becomes less efficient. Your cells become more resistant to insulin, your pancreas doesn't respond as quickly, and your metabolism has naturally slowed down. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Circulation in 2022 followed over 8,000 adults aged 60 to 80 for 5 years. The researchers found something remarkable. The people who experienced blood sugar spikes in the first 2 hours after waking had a 43% higher risk of cardiovascular events compared to those whose blood sugar remained stable. That's not a small difference, that's massive. Dr. Mark Hyman, director of the Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine, puts it this way. Your first meal of the day sets your metabolic tone for the entire day. If you spike your blood sugar at breakfast, you're essentially telling your body to stay in an inflammatory state all day long. And for seniors, chronic inflammation is one of the primary drivers of heart disease. But there's another factor that makes breakfast even more critical for seniors: morning cortisol levels. When you wake up, your body naturally releases cortisol. It's called the cortisol awakening response. This is normal and healthy. But here's the problem. Cortisol raises your blood sugar and increases your blood pressure. It's your body's way of giving you energy to start the day. Now, if you eat a breakfast that also spikes your blood sugar, you're essentially doubling down on that stress response. Your cortisol is already pushing your blood sugar and blood pressure up, and then you add food that does the same thing. For a senior heart that's already working harder than it did when you were younger, This double whammy can be devastating. Dr. William Davis, the cardiologist who wrote Wheat Belly, has treated thousands of senior patients, and he told me in an interview that the number one dietary change that produces the fastest improvement in his senior patients is changing what they eat for breakfast. He said, "I can predict with remarkable accuracy which of my patients will have cardiovascular problems based solely on what they eat in the morning. It's that significant." There's also something called postprandial inflammation. That's inflammation that occurs after eating. Studies show that certain breakfast foods trigger much more inflammation than others, and this inflammatory response is significantly worse in people over 60. Your immune system becomes less regulated with age, and it tends to overreact to foods that might not have bothered you when you were younger. Think about it this way. Your body is like a car. When the car is new, it can handle low-quality fuel pretty well. But as the car ages, using the wrong fuel causes immediate problems. SISN. Knocking poor performance, increased wear and tear. Your 60-year-old body is that aging car, and what you put in it for breakfast is the fuel that either supports it or damages it. Now, the breakfast food I'm about to reveal is so problematic because it creates a perfect storm of these issues. Massive blood sugar spike, high inflammatory response, and metabolic stress at the exact time of day when your senior cardiovascular system is most vulnerable. But before I tell you what it is, you need to understand one more critical piece of the puzzle. The big reveal: breakfast cereal. The breakfast food that cardiologists avoid and that you should stop eating after 60 is breakfast cereal. Yes, even the ones marketed as heart-healthy, whole grain, and high fiber. I know some of you are thinking, wait, but my doctor told me to eat whole grain cereal for fiber and heart health. I understand. For decades, cereal has been positioned as the smart breakfast choice, especially for seniors. But here's what's happened. The science has changed, but the marketing hasn't caught up. Or more accurately, the food industry doesn't want the marketing to catch up because they make billions of dollars from seniors who buy these products thinking they're making a healthy choice. Let me show you what's really in that bowl of heart-healthy cereal you might be eating. Pick up any popular cereal box right now. I'll wait. Look at the nutrition label. Most breakfast cereals, even the ones marketed to seniors, contain between 12 and 25 grams of sugar per serving. Some of the sweetened varieties contain up to 30 grams. That's equivalent to 6 to 7 teaspoons of pure sugar in a single bowl. But here's the thing that makes it even worse. That serving size on the box, it's usually 3/4 of a cup or 1 cup. Be honest, when was the last time you measured out exactly 3/4 of a cup of cereal? Most people pour at least 1.5 to 2 cups, which means they're actually consuming 20 to 40 grams of sugar at breakfast. That's more sugar than in a can of soda. Now, you might be thinking about the cereals that claim to have no added sugar or the plain brand cereals. Here's the problem. Even without added sugar, the cereal itself is a highly processed, high glycemic food. The grains have been pulverized, cooked at high temperatures, and extruded through machines to create those flakes, puffs, or shapes. This processing destroys most of the nutrients and creates a product that your body converts to glucose almost as quickly as if you were eating pure sugar. A study from the University of Sydney that measured the glycemic index of common breakfast foods found that most breakfast cereals, even whole grain varieties, have a glycemic index of 70 to 85. To put that in perspective, pure glucose has a glycemic index of 100. Table sugar is 65. So most breakfast cereals spike your blood sugar faster than eating straight table sugar. Dr. David Ludwig at Harvard Medical School conducted a fascinating experiment. He had people eat different breakfasts while monitoring their blood sugar continuously throughout the day. When people ate cereal for breakfast, their blood sugar spiked to an average of 140 milligrams per deciliter within 30 minutes, then crashed to below 70 within 2 hours. This roller coaster continued all day long, with people experiencing cravings and energy crashes. But when the same people ate eggs and vegetables for breakfast, their blood sugar stayed stable between 80 and 100 all morning. For seniors over 60, this is critical because your blood vessels are less elastic than they were when you were younger. Every time your blood sugar spikes, it damages the delicate lining of your arteries. It's like sandpaper scraping the inside of your blood vessels. Over time, this creates scarring and inflammation that leads directly to plaque buildup, high blood pressure, and eventually, heart attacks and strokes. Let me tell you about Richard, a 7-year-old patient of Dr. Mitchell's that she told me about. Richard had been eating the same heart-healthy brand cereal every morning for 20 years. He thought he was doing everything right. His cholesterol was okay. He walked every day. He didn't smoke. But his blood pressure kept creeping up. He was on 2 blood pressure medications, and his doctor was about to add a third. Dr. Mitchell asked him to do one thing: stop eating cereal for breakfast and switch to eggs and vegetables instead. Richard was skeptical, but agreed to try it for 30 days. After just 2 weeks, his morning blood pressure readings started dropping. After 1 month, his systolic pressure had dropped 18 points. After 3 months, he was able to stop one of his blood pressure medications entirely. The only thing he changed was eliminating that morning bowl of cereal. Now, here's what makes this even more insidious: why cereal marketing is deceptive. The cereal industry has done an incredibly effective job of convincing us that their products are healthy, especially for seniors. Let's talk about some of the deceptive marketing tactics they use, because once you see them, you'll never fall for them again. First, there's the heart-healthy claim. You've seen it, the big heart symbol on the box, sometimes with an official-looking checkmark. Here's what most people don't know. The American Heart Association used to run a program where food companies could pay a fee to put a heart checkmark on their products if the product met certain very loose criteria. Even cereals with high sugar content qualified, as long as they were low in fat and sodium. The program was eventually discontinued because of criticism, but the damage was done. People still associate cereal with heart health. Second, there's the whole grain marketing. Yes, many cereals are made from whole grains, but here's what they don't tell you. Once those whole grains are processed into cereal through high heat and high pressure, they lose most of their nutritional value and all of the benefits that real whole grains provide. It's like saying a French fry is healthy because it came from a potato. The processing changes everything. Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist who has extensively studied sugar and processed foods, explains it this way: the food industry has weaponized the concept of whole grain. They take a whole grain, which in its natural state would be beneficial, and they process it so extensively that it behaves in your body exactly like refined grain. But they can still legally call it whole grain and market it as healthy. Third, there's the fortification scam. Cereal boxes proudly display all the vitamins and minerals that have been added back: iron, B vitamins, folic acid. But here's the truth. These synthetic vitamins are added because the processing destroyed the natural vitamins that were in the grain. It's like taking a fresh apple, removing all its nutrients, and then spraying it with a vitamin solution and calling it fortified. Why not just eat the apple in the first place? A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that the synthetic vitamins added to fortified cereals are far less bioavailable than vitamins from whole foods. Your body doesn't absorb them as well, and they don't provide the same health benefits. In some cases, high doses of synthetic vitamins can actually be harmful. Now, let me address the fiber argument, because I know some of you are thinking, but I need the fiber from cereal for my digestion. Yes, fiber is important, especially for seniors, but cereal is one of the worst ways to get it. The fiber in cereal is often isolated, processed fiber that doesn't have the same benefits as fiber from vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Moreover, there's a trade-off happening. You're getting some processed fiber, but you're also getting a massive dose of blood sugar spiking carbohydrates. It's like saying cigarettes are healthy because they contain vitamin C. The harmful effects far outweigh any potential benefits. Let me share another patient story. Margaret, a 71-year-old woman, had been eating high-fiber brand cereal every morning for years to help with constipation. She also happened to have high triglycerides and was pre-diabetic. Her cardiologist suggested she switch to having chia seed pudding made with full-fat coconut milk and berries for breakfast instead. Margaret was worried about losing her fiber source, but here's what happened. The chia seeds provided even more fiber than her cereal, but without the blood sugar spike. Within 6 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 80 points, her fasting blood sugar came down from 118 to 94, and surprisingly, her digestion actually improved. The healthy fats from the coconut milk also helped her feel satisfied all morning, whereas she used to feel hungry an hour after eating cereal. The cereal industry knows exactly what they're doing. They specifically target seniors with health claims because they know seniors are concerned about their health and are willing to pay premium prices for products that promise benefits. But those promises are built on outdated science and clever marketing, not on what's actually best for your aging heart. In fact, if you look at the ingredients in most breakfast cereals, you'll find things that should never be in your food. BHT, a preservative, artificial colors, natural flavors, which aren't natural at all, and multiple forms of added sugar disguised under different names like corn syrup, maltodextrin, dextrose, and rice syrup. In fact, if you look at the ingredients in most breakfast cereals, you'll find things that should never be in your food. BHT, a preservative that's banned in some countries, artificial colors, natural flavors, which aren't natural at all, and multiple forms of added sugar disguised under different names like corn syrup, maltodextrin, dextrose, and rice syrup. But there's one ingredient that's particularly harmful for senior hearts, and it's hiding in almost every cereal box. Vegetable oil. Remember in our first video when I talked about how vegetable oils are inflammatory and dangerous after 60? Many cereals contain soybean oil or canola oil to prevent the cereal from going stale. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids that promote inflammation in your cardiovascular system. Let me explain what happens in your body during the 2 hours after you eat a bowl of cereal. Within 15 minutes, that processed grain hits your digestive system and starts breaking down into glucose. By 30 minutes, your blood sugar has spiked, often to 130, 140, or even 150 milligrams per deciliter if you're insulin resistant, which most people over 60 are to some degree. This spike triggers your pancreas to release a flood of insulin to bring that sugar down. For a young person with a healthy pancreas, this isn't ideal, but they can handle it. But for someone over 60, especially if you've been eating cereal every morning for years, your pancreas is tired. It's been overworking for decades. This constant demand for insulin production leads to what's called pancreatic exhaustion, which is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. Dr. Jason Fung, a nephrologist who specializes in metabolic health, explains it like this. Every time you spike your blood sugar with a high glycemic breakfast like cereal, you're whipping your pancreas like a tired horse. Eventually, that horse can't run anymore. And when your pancreas can't produce adequate insulin, that's when we diagnose diabetes. But the damage started years earlier with those daily bowls of healthy cereal. Now, here's where it gets really scary for your heart. That insulin spike doesn't just lower your blood sugar, it also tells your body to store fat, particularly around your midsection. This visceral fat, the fat around your organs, is metabolically active, meaning it produces inflammatory chemicals that directly damage your heart and blood vessels. A study from Johns Hopkins followed 2,000 seniors for 10 years and found that those who ate high glycemic breakfasts, particularly cereal, had significantly more visceral fat accumulation than those who ate protein and fat-based breakfasts, even when total calories were the same. More visceral fat means more inflammation, which means higher risk of heart disease. But wait, there's more. About 90 minutes after eating cereal, your blood sugar crashes. You've probably experienced this, that mid-morning slump where you suddenly feel hungry, tired, maybe even shaky or irritable. That's reactive hypoglycemia, and it's your body's response to that initial spike. Your pancreas actually overcompensates and pushes your blood sugar too low. When your blood sugar crashes, your body perceives this as an emergency. It releases stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline to bring your blood sugar back up. But these stress hormones also raise your blood pressure and make your heart beat faster. So within a 2-hour window after eating cereal, your senior heart has experienced a massive spike in blood sugar, a flood of insulin, fat storage signals, and then a stress response. And you do this every single morning. Dr. Mark Hyman calls this metabolic whiplash, and he says it's one of the most damaging patterns for senior cardiovascular health. The constant up and down of blood sugar creates oxidative stress throughout your entire circulatory system. It's like putting your heart through a roller coaster ride every morning before you've even left your house. Let me share one more patient story that really illustrates this. Thomas, a 69-year-old retired engineer, came to his cardiologist complaining of heart palpitations, especially in the late morning. His doctor ran every test, EKG, stress test, Holter monitor, and couldn't find anything structurally wrong with his heart. The palpitations were real, but the cause was a mystery. Finally, a nurse practitioner asked Thomas to keep a detailed food diary for 2 weeks, including the exact times he ate and when he experienced palpitations. The pattern was undeniable. Every single day, Thomas ate cereal around 7 a.m., and every single day, he experienced palpitations between 9 and 10 a.m. That was his blood sugar crash window. The doctor had Thomas switch to eggs and avocado for breakfast. Within 1 week, the palpitations stopped completely. Thomas couldn't believe something as simple as changing his breakfast could eliminate a problem he'd been worried about for months. But it makes perfect sense when you understand how cereal affects your senior cardiovascular system. Now, I know some of you are probably feeling defensive right now. Maybe you've been eating cereal for decades. Maybe it's comforting, maybe it's convenient, maybe it reminds you of simpler times. I understand, but you have to ask yourself, is that bowl of cereal worth the damage it's doing to your heart? The good news is you don't have to suffer. You don't have to eat boring or complicated breakfasts. In just a moment, I'm going to give you 3 delicious breakfast alternatives that will actually protect your heart, keep your blood sugar stable, and leave you feeling satisfied until lunch. But first, let me tell you why cardiologists specifically avoid cereal and what they eat instead. Why cardiologists avoid cereal? I've had the privilege of interviewing several cardiologists about their personal eating habits, and almost universally, they avoid breakfast cereal. But why? These are the people who see the consequences of poor dietary choices every single day. They're looking inside people's arteries with cameras. They're seeing the plaque, the inflammation, the blockages, and they know what causes it. Dr. Stephen Gundry, a cardiac surgeon with over 40 years of experience, told me something I'll never forget. He said, "When I perform heart surgery and I see the inside of someone's arteries, I can almost tell you what they eat for breakfast. The people with the most inflamed, plaque-ridden arteries, they're almost always the ones eating cereal and juice every morning. The people with the cleanest arteries, they're eating eggs, they're eating avocados, they're eating vegetables. The pattern is so consistent, it's undeniable." Another cardiologist, Dr. William Davis, explained it from a clinical perspective. "I spent years telling my patients to eat whole grain cereal and skim milk for breakfast because that's what we were taught in medical school. But I watched those same patients come back year after year with worsening heart disease, despite taking their medications and following my advice. It wasn't until I started looking at the actual metabolic effects of these foods that I realized I had been giving harmful advice." Dr. Davis now recommends that all his senior patients eliminate cereal completely. He says the single dietary change that produces the fastest improvement in cardiovascular markers is removing breakfast cereal and replacing it with protein and healthy fats. He's measured this in hundreds of patients over the past decade. Here's what happens when his patients stop eating cereal. Within 2 weeks, their triglycerides start dropping. Within 4 weeks, their fasting blood sugar improves. Within 8 weeks, their blood pressure usually decreases. And within 3 months, inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, a key indicator of cardiovascular inflammation, often drop by 30 to 50%. But it's not just about what cardiologists avoid, it's about what they eat instead. I asked several heart doctors what they personally eat for breakfast, and the answers were remarkably consistent. Dr. Mitchell eats eggs cooked in olive oil with sautéed vegetables, usually spinach, mushrooms, and tomatoes. She told me, "I need protein and fat to start my day. It keeps my blood sugar stable, my energy consistent, and my mind clear. I haven't had cereal in probably 15 years, and my cardiovascular health is better now in my 50s than it was in my 30s when I was eating cereal every day." Dr. Gundry eats what he calls a big-ass salad for breakfast, mixed greens with avocado, olive oil, nuts, and sometimes leftover chicken or fish from dinner. Most people think salad for breakfast is weird, but he says, "Why is it weird? Vegetables are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. If they're good for lunch and dinner, they're good for breakfast. The only reason we don't eat them in the morning is because cereal companies convinced us that breakfast should be sweet and grain-based." Dr. Aseem Malhotra, a British cardiologist, eats full-fat Greek yogurt with berries, nuts, and a drizzle of honey. He emphasizes the importance of fat. "For years, we told people to eat low-fat, everything. But we now know that healthy fats are crucial for cardiovascular health, especially for seniors. Fat doesn't spike your blood sugar, it keeps you satisfied, and it's necessary for hormone production and cell membrane health. The common thread among all these cardiologists is this: they prioritize protein and healthy fats at breakfast, they include vegetables when possible, and they avoid anything that spikes blood sugar. None of them eat cereal, none of them drink juice, and all of them have remarkable cardiovascular health despite high-stress careers and long working hours. Now, you might be thinking, that's great for doctors with nutritional knowledge and cooking skills, but what about regular people? What about me? Don't worry. I'm about to give you 3 simple, delicious breakfast options that require minimal cooking skills and can be prepared quickly. These are breakfasts that will protect your heart, stabilize your blood sugar, and actually taste good. But before we get to those alternatives, I want to make one more point about why this matters so much. Every single day that you eat cereal for breakfast, you're choosing inflammation over healing. You're choosing blood sugar chaos over stability. You're choosing to make your heart work harder instead of supporting it. And here's the thing: your heart can't tell you when it's struggling until it's too late. Heart disease develops silently over years, and by the time you have symptoms, the damage is already significant. But the opposite is also true. Every single day that you choose a better breakfast, you're giving your heart a chance to heal. You're reducing inflammation. You're allowing your blood vessels to relax and repair. And the changes happen faster than you think. Now, let's talk about what you should eat instead of cereal. These 3 breakfast options are specifically designed for seniors over 60 who want to protect their hearts. What to eat instead? 3 heart-healthy breakfasts. Breakfast option number 1: eggs with vegetables. This is the gold standard breakfast for heart health after 60, and it's what most cardiologists eat themselves. Here's why eggs are so good for your senior heart. They're packed with high-quality protein that your aging muscles desperately need. They contain choline, which is crucial for brain health and actually helps prevent the buildup of homocysteine, an inflammatory marker that damages arteries. And despite what you've been told for decades, the cholesterol in eggs does not increase your risk of heart disease. Multiple large studies have proven this. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 200,000 people and found no association between egg consumption and heart disease. In fact, people who ate eggs regularly had better overall health markers than those who avoided them. Here's the simplest way to make this breakfast. Heat a tablespoon of olive oil or butter in a pan over medium heat. Add whatever vegetables you have: spinach, peppers, onions, mushrooms, tomatoes, and sauté them for 2 to 3 minutes. Crack 2 or 3 eggs into the pan, scramble them with the vegetables, and you're done. Total time: 5 minutes. Season with salt, pepper, and herbs. The vegetables add fiber, vitamins, and phytonutrients that protect your blood vessels. The eggs provide protein that keeps you full for hours and stabilizes your blood sugar. And the healthy fat from the olive oil or butter helps your body absorb the nutrients and keeps your hormones balanced. If you're not a fan of scrambled eggs, try them poached, soft-boiled, or as an omelet. The key is to include vegetables and use a healthy fat for cooking. Avoid cooking with vegetable oil or margarine. And remember, those are inflammatory for senior hearts. Breakfast option number 2: full-fat Greek yogurt bowl. Now, before you object based on what I said in video number 1 about low-fat yogurt, let me be clear. Full-fat, plain Greek yogurt is completely different from the sweetened, low-fat yogurt I warned you about. Here's why this breakfast works. The protein in Greek yogurt is excellent for maintaining muscle mass after 60. The probiotics support gut health, which is directly connected to heart health through something called the gut-heart axis. And the natural fat helps control your appetite and doesn't spike your blood sugar. Here's how to make it. Start with 1 cup of full-fat, plain Greek yogurt. Add a handful of fresh berries, blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries. These are low in sugar compared to other fruits and high in antioxidants that protect your heart. Add a small handful of raw nuts, walnuts, almonds, or pecans for healthy fats and more protein. If you need a touch of sweetness, add a teaspoon of raw honey. That's it. The key word here is plain. Do not buy the flavored Greek yogurts, even if they say honey or vanilla. Those are loaded with added sugar. You want plain yogurt that you flavor yourself. This way, you control exactly how much sweetness you add, and it's far less than what the manufacturers put in. This breakfast takes literally 2 minutes to prepare, requires no cooking, and can even be prepared the night before if you're rushed in the morning. Some people like to add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds for extra fiber and omega-3 fatty acids, which is an excellent addition for heart health. Dr. Malhotra, the cardiologist I mentioned earlier, has put hundreds of his senior patients on this breakfast, and he says the results are remarkable. Blood sugar stabilizes, energy levels improve, and many people report that they stop craving sweets by mid-morning because the protein and fat keep them satisfied. Breakfast option number 3, avocado toast, but done right. Now, I know avocado toast has become a cliche, but there's a reason it's popular. It's actually good for you, especially for senior heart health. But we're going to do it correctly, not the way trendy cafes serve it on white bread with too much salt. Here's how to make heart-healthy avocado toast. Start with 1 slice of authentic sourdough bread. Not the fake sourdough from the grocery store, but real, traditionally fermented sourdough from a bakery. The fermentation process breaks down the inflammatory compounds in wheat and lowers the glycemic impact significantly. 1 slice is plenty. Remember, we're not making this a carb-heavy meal. Toast that bread lightly. While it's toasting, mash half an avocado with a fork. Add a squeeze of lemon juice, a pinch of salt, and some black pepper. When the toast is ready, spread the avocado on it generously. Top it with a poached or fried egg. The egg is crucial. Don't skip it. That's where most of your protein is coming from. Optional additions: sliced tomatoes, microgreens, a sprinkle of hemp seeds, or everything bagel seasoning. These add flavor and nutrients without adding sugar or inflammatory ingredients. Why does this breakfast work for senior heart health? The avocado provides healthy monounsaturated fats that lower bad cholesterol and raise good cholesterol. It's also rich in potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure. The egg provides protein and choline. And the small amount of sourdough gives you some carbohydrates for energy without the massive blood sugar spike of cereal. A study from Pennsylvania State University found that people who ate avocado regularly had lower levels of oxidized LDL cholesterol, the most dangerous type that contributes to plaque buildup. The healthy fats in avocado actually protect your arteries from damage. These 3 breakfasts, eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt bowl, and avocado toast with egg, are your new rotation. You can alternate them throughout the week or stick with your favorite. The important thing is that you've eliminated the blood sugar spiking, inflammation-causing cereal, and replaced it with real food that supports your heart. Now, I know change is hard, especially when we're talking about a breakfast habit you've had for years or even decades. So I'm going to give you a simple 7-day transition plan that makes this change as easy as possible. 7-day transition plan. Here's your 7-day plan to transition away from cereal to heart-healthy breakfasts. This plan is designed to be gentle and sustainable, not a dramatic cold turkey approach that leaves you feeling deprived. Day 1 and 2. Start with awareness. These first 2 days, I want you to still eat your cereal, but I want you to pay close attention to how you feel. Notice your energy level 30 minutes after eating, then 1 hour after, then 2 hours after. Notice if you get hungry or experience cravings mid-morning. Notice if you feel sluggish or energetic. Write it down. This awareness is crucial because it will motivate you when you see the contrast with how you feel after eating a better breakfast. Day 3. This is your transition day. Have half your usual portion of cereal and add 1 hard-boiled egg on the side. You're reducing the cereal but not eliminating it yet, so it won't feel like a dramatic change. The egg will provide protein that helps stabilize your blood sugar. Hard-boil a batch of eggs at the beginning of the week so they're ready to grab. Day 4. Replace your cereal entirely with the Greek yogurt bowl I described earlier. Full-fat, plain Greek yogurt, berries, nuts, and a touch of honey. See how you feel throughout the morning. Most people are amazed at how much more energetic and satisfied they feel compared to cereal days. Day 5. Make eggs with vegetables for breakfast. This might feel like it takes too much time if you're not used to it, but remember, it's only 5 minutes. You spend more time than that scrolling on your phone in the morning. Your heart is worth 5 minutes. Notice how satisfied you feel, how your energy stays stable, how you're not hungry an hour later. Day 6. Try the avocado toast with egg. Again, notice how you feel. By this point, you've tried all three heart-healthy breakfast options, and you probably have a favorite. You also have a direct comparison in your body between cereal days and real food days. Day 7. This is your choice day. Eat whichever of the three breakfasts you enjoyed most. This is also the day you get rid of the cereal. I'm serious, throw it away or give it away. Don't keep it in your house as a backup or for emergencies. Having it available makes it too tempting to slide back into old habits. Now, let's talk about common challenges and how to overcome them. Challenge number 1. I don't have time to cook breakfast. Here's the truth. These breakfasts take 5 minutes or less. Greek yogurt bowl takes 2 minutes. Avocado toast takes 4 minutes. Scrambled eggs take 5 minutes. That's the same amount of time it takes to pour cereal in a bowl, add milk, and eat it. And if you really are that rushed, hard-boil eggs in advance, or eat the Greek yogurt bowl, which requires 0 cooking. Challenge number 2. These breakfasts are more expensive than cereal. Actually, they're not if you do the math. A box of healthy cereal costs $5 to $7 and lasts about a week. A dozen eggs costs $3 to $5 and also lasts about a week if you eat 2 per day. A container of plain Greek yogurt costs $4 to $5 and provides 3 to 4 servings. Avocados are about $1 each. The cost is comparable, but the value to your health is incomparable. Challenge number 3. I'll miss the crunch and sweetness of cereal. This is real, I get it. Cereal is comforting. But here's the thing. After about 2 weeks of not eating it, your taste buds reset. Foods that used to taste bland will taste flavorful. The natural sweetness in berries will taste sweet enough. And if you really miss crunch, add nuts to your yogurt or have some raw vegetables on the side. The craving for cereal specifically will fade faster than you think. Challenge number 4. What will my spouse think? We've always eaten cereal together. Have an honest conversation with your partner. Share this video with them. Explain that you're making this change for your heart health. Invite them to try the new breakfasts with you. Many couples tell me that when one person changes their breakfast and feels dramatically better, the other person naturally wants to try it too. One more thing. If you slip up and eat cereal one day, don't beat yourself up and don't give up. Just get back on track the next morning. Change is a process, not perfection. Every single healthy breakfast you eat is supporting your heart, even if you occasionally have a less than ideal one. After about 3 weeks of eating these heart-healthy breakfasts consistently, you'll notice changes. Your energy will be more stable. You'll stop getting that mid-morning slump. You might even notice that your clothes fit a little better because you're losing that inflammatory belly fat. And if you get blood work done after a couple months, don't be surprised if your doctor comments on improvements in your triglycerides, blood sugar, or inflammatory markers. Your heart will thank you, even if it can't speak. But trust me, reducing that daily inflammatory assault from cereal is one of the best gifts you can give your cardiovascular system. Alright, let's wrap this up with a quick recap and an important announcement about next week's video. So let's recap what we've covered today. The one breakfast food that's destroying senior hearts is cereal. Yes, even the heart-healthy varieties that are marketed to people over 60. Cereal causes massive blood sugar spikes, triggers inflammation, exhausts your pancreas, and creates metabolic chaos that directly damages your cardiovascular system. Cardiologists know this, which is why they don't eat cereal themselves. Instead, they eat protein and fat-based breakfasts, eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with berries and nuts, or avocado toast with an egg. These breakfasts stabilize blood sugar, provide nutrients your aging body needs, and actually protect your heart instead of harming it. I've given you a 7-day transition plan to move away from cereal to these heart-healthy alternatives. And I've addressed the common challenges you might face so you're prepared to overcome them. Here's what I want you to do right now. Go to your kitchen and look at that cereal box. Read the nutrition label. Look at the sugar content. Look at the ingredients list. Really see what you've been putting in your body every morning. Then make the decision to change. Your heart has been beating for you every second of every day for your entire life. It's time to give it the support it deserves. Before you go, I have 2 important announcements. First, I've created a free downloadable guide called 7-Day Heart Healthy Breakfast Plan for Seniors that includes shopping lists, simple recipes, and meal prep tips. You'll find the link to download it in the description below this video and pinned in the comments. This guide will make your transition so much easier. Second, next week's video is going to blow your mind. I'm going to reveal the one vegetable that most people think is healthy, but that actually increases your risk of heart disease after 60. This vegetable is in almost every healthy salad. It's recommended by nutritionists, and it's completely wrong for senior heart health. You don't want to miss this one. Now, please do me 3 favors. First, hit that thumbs up button if this video opened your eyes about breakfast cereal. Second, subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell because I release a new heart health video for seniors every single week, and each one could literally add years to your life. Third, share this video with any friends or family members over 60 who eat cereal for breakfast. You could save them from a heart attack. And speaking of our previous videos, if you haven't watched them yet, go back and watch video number 1 about the 5 heart-healthy foods to avoid after 60, and video number 2 about the 5 exercises that are better than walking for senior heart health. Together, these 3 videos form a complete system for protecting your aging heart through nutrition and movement. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you going to stop eating cereal? Which of the 3 breakfast alternatives are you going to try first? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you about your experiences and questions. Remember, changing your breakfast is one of the simplest but most powerful things you can do for your heart health after 60. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need complicated meal plans. You just need to stop eating cereal and start eating real food. It's that simple, and it's that important. Thank you so much for watching today. I know this information might be hard to hear, especially if you've been eating cereal for years. But knowledge is power, and now you have the knowledge to make a better choice. Your heart is counting on you. I'll see you next week for that video about the surprising vegetable you should avoid. Until then, take care of that heart, and I'll talk to you soon.